Hey guys, this is Benny Ricciardi with rotocurve.com, and I'm here with our DraftKings NBA Fades picks for Friday, January 22nd. The idea of the Fades picks is to pick a couple guys that are going to be kind of highly owned tonight that a lot of people are talking about, who are guys that we are definitely not going to be having in our rosters. There's a reason why we don't like each one of these guys and a reason why we decided not to play them. So let's call up the slideshow and get into some of the reasons and some of the guys who we're looking to avoid for our NBA DFS rosters tonight. The three guys that we're going to be taking a look at today are Michael Carter-Williams, Monta Ellis, and Lou Williams. The first guy up on the list is Michael Carter-Williams. Basically, ever since Jared Bayless has returned, he is losing court time. He had a great few weeks where his minutes had gone from 32 to 37 minutes, and lately they've dropped down into the 27-minute range. So he's basically lost about a quarter of the amount of court time that he had been seeing. He had a 15-game stretch where 11 of those games were between 35 and 45 fantasy points. And now in his recent stretch where he's only playing about 26, 27 minutes, we've seen him average around like 20, 25 fantasy points now. The problem is he's still priced like that guy that was 35 minutes a game getting 35 to 45 fantasy points. If you're paying $7K for a guy who's only getting you 20 to 25, you're basically looking at 3 to 4x value over on DraftKings, which would absolutely kill any roster that you put him on. The next guy that we're going to be discussing here is Monta Ellis at 6,800. He's a big underdog versus a very efficient Warriors defense. So there is a chance that this game could turn into a blowout and, the Pacers could just have a really bad offensive game overall. Monta Ellis is starting at the point guard now with Hill and Stuckey hurt, which is why a lot of people are telling you, oh, you need to play this guy. You need to put him on your rosters. His numbers are up. I'll give you that. But the price is up even more on him. And that's where, the pause comes for me. He basically needs about 34 to 42 fantasy points to get value at 6,800 and also to have upside. So about 35 for value, 42 for upside. He's only gone over that number twice in his last 12 games. He had a 37-point game and a 39-point game. So he hasn't hit the ceiling that we're looking for from him yet to give you that, to give you that 6x that you would need to win a tournament. And he's also only been over the floor of 5x, which is what we usually look for in a cash game as a minimum, in 2 of his last 12 games. So really, this is not a guy who's been giving you big points. Yes, he has been scoring and doing a little more. His assist numbers really aren't up all that much, though. He's up at around 30 fantasy points, which is not a horrible return. It's still 4 to 4.5x, but we still think it's below what you would really want out of him. If I was playing Monta Ellis at 6,800, I would want a floor closer to like 39 to 40 fantasy points and to know that he had upside where he could get me into the 50s. I don't think he has that kind of upside, and we haven't seen that kind of floor out of him yet. So while I think he gets close to it, 30, 35 fantasy points, somewhere in that range, that's barely making it to the minimum that we would think would be acceptable. And the problem I have is I think Monta Ellis is going to be pretty highly owned tonight. With Hill and Stuckey out, a lot of people are talking about how you have to play him. It's a bad matchup, and it's a tough spot for him. So I don't think this is the greatest time to roll out Monta Ellis, and he's definitely somebody that I'm going to be fading tonight. The last guy I want to talk about is Lou Williams from the LA Lakers. They face the San Antonio Spurs, which right off the bat is a reason to fade him because that's a team that we actively try to avoid taking players against. He's seeing a few less minutes in a crowded backcourt right now. You have D'Angelo Russell back from injury. He's the rookie with the bright upside, so they got to make sure they get him some minutes. You got Kobe on his farewell tour, so they got to make sure they get him some minutes. And Jordan Clarkson has actually been the guard who's been playing the best for the Lakers over the last couple games. And because he's playing so well, he's been getting some more playing time. So all those things are kind of squeezing Lou Williams for a couple minutes here and there. And we're seeing a few less minutes out of Lou Williams than we were before. The thing that really gets me with Lou Williams here is the price, which is the big change. When he was putting up 25 to 35 fantasy points and doing it at 5K, we were telling you to roster him all the time because he was a really good value. Now, though, up at 6,400, 25 to 30 fantasy points, which is what he's been putting up, is really only getting you like 4 to 4.5x right now. It's not enough of an upside for us to really think that this is a guy we want to roll out there and, in his lineups. Remember, like we said, when he was 5K, those 25 to 30 fantasy points was good enough. At 64, 6,500, though, it's just not going to be enough for us to get the upside that we need to win a tournament or to feel like we have the safety that we can get out of Lou Williams to, use him in cash games. Again, Kobe's taking some minutes, Russell's taking some minutes, Clarkson's taking some minutes, and it almost seems like they're all coming at the expense of Lou Williams. So those are three guys that we're looking at tonight. Those are going to be three guys who are going to be popular, guys that people are talking about, and guys that I'm going to be avoiding on all my rosters today. We do think there are a lot of upside plays that you can look at today, and we'll be coming back with you a little bit later on today with our top NBA plays on DraftKings for the day video. So make sure you keep your eyes out for that one, and as always, stay classy, DFS.